Today is October 31st, 2025. Antisemitism, an ancient hatred, is once again casting a shadow over our cities and communities. This is not a relic of the past, it's a growing threat, visible in New York streets, on our phones, and in our universities. Silence, in the face of this hatred, is dangerous. It allows prejudice to thrive. Why is this old prejudice finding new life today? Antisemitism is fueled by misinformation, political division, and deep-rooted biases. We see it in violent attacks and in subtle stereotypes. Neither can be ignored. These incidents are not isolated, they're part of a disturbing pattern. When anti-Semitism rises, it signals a broader decay of tolerance and respect in society. The same forces that target Jews often threaten other minorities as well. That's why this conversation matters for everyone. New York, a city known for diversity, is not immune. Recent surges in anti-Semitic incidents are alarming. Even here, the shadow of hate has fallen, from political debates to acts of violence and vandalism. These events demand our attention and collective action. Understanding this resurgence is the first step to confronting it. We must face this challenge with clarity and courage. Anti-Semitism is a deep-rooted prejudice targeting Jewish people simply for who they are. It appears in harmful stereotypes, false claims about power, money, or loyalty, and in conspiracy theories blaming Jews for society's problems. These ideas, though ancient, are constantly repackaged for new audiences. Recognizing these tropes is crucial. They lay the groundwork for more dangerous actions. Anti-Semitism is often loud and violent, assaults on people wearing religious symbols, or vandalism of synagogues and cemeteries with swastikas. These are not just property crimes, they're messages of hate meant to intimidate entire communities. Hate also spreads through words, chants and slogans calling for violence, or phrases like "globalize the Intifada," which many Jews hear as a direct threat. Words have power. When used to dehumanize, the consequences can be devastating. Anti-Semitism also appears in art and media, cartoons using hateful caricatures, or symbols twisted to equate Jewish identity with Nazism. This tactic, known as Holocaust inversion, is a deeply painful form of propaganda. By twisting history and symbols, it seeks to erase Jewish suffering and identity. These acts are not just offensive, they're attempts to turn symbols of faith into weapons. Recognizing these signs is the first step in stopping the spread of hate. Politics should be about ideas, but lately it's become a stage for dangerous rhetoric. In New York's recent mayoral race, anti-Semitism became a flashpoint. Former Governor Andrew Cuomo accused rival Zohran Mamdani of using language offensive to Jews, especially over Mamdani's refusal to condemn the phrase, "globalize the Intifada." For many Jews, Intifada recalls violent attacks and is heard as a call for violence. Cuomo argued that such language promotes intolerance, not unity. The debate exposed a deep divide. What some see as liberation, others hear as a threat. Mamdani countered by accusing Cuomo of Islamophobia, showing how quickly these debates spiral into broader accusations. The mayoral race became a reminder that political rhetoric has real consequences, deepening divisions and making communities feel targeted. It showed how hard it is to discuss the Israeli-Palestinian conflict without crossing into anti-Semitic tropes. The projected victory for Mamdani left many wondering about the future of inter-community relations in a diverse city. The clash raised a critical question. How can a city move forward when its leaders are seen as champions of one group at the expense of another? Political words matter. They can unite or divide. We must demand better from those who lead. University campuses should be places of open inquiry, but they've become flashpoints for anti-Semitism. At Cornell, a student newspaper published an article with artwork by Professor Karim Ali Qasim that sparked outrage. The image, seen as blatantly anti-Semitic, depicted a bloodied Star of David and a symbol resembling the Nazi SS insignia. This comparison, known as Holocaust inversion, is a classic anti-Semitic trope, minimizing the Holocaust and demonizing its victims. The backlash was swift. The newspaper retracted the artwork and republished the article without it. Professor Qasim expressed regret, but the damage was done. Jewish students felt targeted and unsafe, raising questions about the university's commitment to protecting its students. This is not an isolated case. Campuses nationwide are battlegrounds over Israel and Palestine, and debates too often spill into anti-Semitism. Jewish students report harassment and intimidation. The Cornell incident highlights the challenge: how to foster free speech while condemning hate. When anti-Semitic imagery is promoted, it poisons the academic environment. Universities must ensure they remain places of inclusive learning. The line between debate and hate must never be blurred. Art can inspire hope and memorialize tragedy, but it's also a target for hate. In Milan, a mural honoring Shiri Bibas and her sons, victims of terrorism, was defaced in an act of anti-Semitism. The artist, Alexandro Palombo, called the vandalism an attempt to erase memory and deny suffering. Destroying a memorial is not just an attack on art, it's an attack on the memory of innocent lives. Palombo's murals are acts of visual resistance, public declarations that victims will not be forgotten. When his art is attacked, it only underscores the importance of his mission. The vandalism becomes a visible scar, proof of the hatred he's fighting. This incident in Milan connects to anxieties in cities like New York. Anti-Semitism is a global phenomenon. The same impulse that defaces a mural in Italy fuels attacks elsewhere. The battle against anti-Semitism is also a battle for memory. We must ensure victims are not silenced and history is not forgotten. The leap from hateful words to violence is often short. In New York, Tarek Bazrouk, a Palestinian American, was sentenced for violent assaults against Jewish protesters at pro-Israel rallies. This was not a political disagreement. It was targeted violence fueled by explicit hatred. Bazrouk called himself a Jew hater and sent messages expressing a desire for horrific acts. His case is a stark warning. Hateful rhetoric can quickly become real-world danger. The justice system struggled with the severity of his crimes, but the case itself is a wake-up call. It shows the direct link between online hate and physical attacks. When people are dehumanized with words, violence often follows. This is not an isolated incident. It's part of a frightening trend. Anti-Semitic violence is real, present, and has victims. We must confront not just the violence, but the ideologies that inspire it. Never again was once a vow after the Holocaust, but today it feels more like a plea. Rabbi David Hofstadter and Mark Walker warn that the world is forgetting its lessons. They ask, how can the same hatred be socially acceptable within the lifetime of survivors? Swastikas on synagogues and anti-Semitic chants in Western cities show that hate has re-emerged, bold and unapologetic. The fight against anti-Semitism is a moral imperative. Faith, freedom, and civilization depend on it. A world unsafe for Jews is unsafe for everyone. What happens in New York is part of a global trend. The same hateful ideologies gaining ground abroad are amplified online and finding fertile ground in America. Leaders' warnings are a call to action. Complacency is not an option. Never again must be renewed by each generation. Through education, vigilance, and courage. The promise is only kept if we act. Acts of anti-Semitism send ripples of fear through entire communities. A swastika on a synagogue or an attack on someone wearing a kippah is felt by every Jewish person as a threat. Hate crimes are designed to terrorize, making people feel unsafe in their own neighborhoods. This fear forces communities to turn inward, invest in security, and live with constant vigilance. The psychological toll is immense and long-lasting. But the damage spreads further. Anti-Semitism corrodes the fabric of society. Hatred against one group soon spreads to others. Prejudice, once unleashed, does not stay contained. It erodes trust, fosters division, and undermines democracy. An attack on one is an attack on all. The fight against anti-Semitism is everyone's fight. Standing up for one another is how we build a compassionate world. The rise of anti-Semitism presents a choice: be bystanders or upstanders. This is a moment for determination, not despair. The stories of hate are not the end. Our response will write the final chapter. Hope comes from our collective decision to act. Education is the first step. Learn the history, recognize modern forms, and teach tolerance. Listen to neighbors' stories and build empathy. Hatred fades when we know each other. Challenge stereotypes and speak up, even when it's uncomfortable. Solidarity is next. The fight against anti-Semitism needs allies from every background. When a synagogue is defaced, the cleanup should include everyone. When a Jewish student is harassed, classmates must stand with them. Visible support sends a powerful message: we will not be divided. We must demand more from our leaders, reject division, support unity, and advocate for justice. This is our shared responsibility to create a city and world of safety and hope. The path forward is clear. We must walk it together, against the darkness.